If you've been thinking about moving to Fort Wayne, Indiana, then this video is for you. For starters, your timing is incredible. We've got projects going on all over downtown, from the riverfront development to electric works. We've got new apartments, new entertainment spots. After this video, go ahead and check out the rest of my channel, Jake in Fort Wayne, where I highlight some of those. We've got large investments being made by major employers. We've got Google, Amazon, Sweetwater Sound, just to name a few, who have all made big investment in Fort Wayne area. Part of our appeal is that we've been consistently ranking in the top 10, and sometimes in some cases even #1 for the most affordable city in America. And that's according to multiple publications, including the Wall Street Journal. And last, and maybe most importantly, Fort Wayne pride is at an all-time high. When I grew up here, it was not cool to be from Fort Wayne. And now that we've had this big influx of people, a big influx of cultures, and there's a lot of fun things to do, people are loving telling people that they're from here. The thought of moving can be very scary and quite intimidating. You've got to figure out where you're going to live. You've got to coordinate the logistics of the move. You've got to find a new job or, new working conditions and all the other little life details. Well, we're going to take one of those items off the list today. We're going to give you a tactical, step-by-step breakdown of how to make this move and do it as seamlessly and as smoothly as possible. Before we dig in, I want to talk a little bit about myself. If this is your first time to my channel, Jake in Fort Wayne, thank you so much for checking this video out. Be sure to subscribe to stay on top of all kinds of cool content, everything related to Fort Wayne, from restaurants to new developments to real estate, everything that pertains to you as a citizen. So I've been a real estate agent for 12 years now. I'm currently the team leader for the McAfee Home Group, where it's myself and 5 other agents, as well as a full-time videographer and an assistant, so I feel very blessed in that department. I'm also a happily married father of 6. Yes, 6. I was born and raised right here in Fort Wayne, and then after graduating from Purdue University, I ended up moving to Orlando, Florida, where I actually spent the next 12 years, the last 7 of which I was a full-time real estate sales agent. And then in 2019, I packed up my then family of 5 and came back here to Fort Wayne. I think when I told people that I was leaving Florida for Indiana, I think most of my friends thought that I had completely lost my mind. But this move has been absolutely incredible for my family. It's been a huge blessing. But the point is that not only am I an experienced real estate agent, I've made this move myself. I've relocated myself. I know the stress and the hardships that you go through, the last minute, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're actually doing this. I've been through all that, so I have created a process to try to make this as smooth as possible to help you out. Okay, now that we've got that out of the way, let's get down to business. So you've decided to move to Fort Wayne, or you're thinking about it and you're trying to put a plan together. The very first thing you want to do is start to think about your vision of home. What does your home look like? What part of town suits you best? Do you need to be close to work? If you have children, what school district do you want to be in? We have 3 large school districts here. We've got Fort Wayne Community Schools, Northwest Allen County Schools, and Southwest Allen County Schools. You also want to factor in what kind of lifestyle do you want to live? Do you need to be close to the kids' soccer complex, or do you want to be downtown because you like going out at night, you like farmers markets, social life, that type of thing, or maybe you like to be near parks or trails, the outdoors. Start thinking about, what's important to you outside of just the X's and O's of like the size of the house and what school district. What kind of life do you want to live when you're here? Step number 2 is we will set up a buyer's consultation, and this can be done either via Zoom or in person. It'll consist of 4 main items. We'll do a deep dive on your criteria that includes the budget, a timeline with logistics so that you can line up all these dates. We'll go over your must-haves, your deal breakers, everything that's important to you in a home. If you have a home to sell in your current town, that's no problem as well. I've actually got someone who's relocating here to Fort Wayne right now that's under contract, and we're coordinating their sale in their city that they're in, so that's not a big deal at all. If you don't have an agent in mind where you live, I have a large network and I'm good at interviewing agents. I can actually help you find an agent in your hometown if that's something you need as well. The other item we'll go over during the buyer's consultation is getting you pre-approved with a local lender. So this is probably the most vital and important piece of the process, because it's how we get started. If you don't have a pre-approval letter, then you can't write an offer. And if you can't write an offer, then there's really no point in going to see houses. I know you're excited. I know you want to get out there and see the one that just hit Zillow, but the truth is that that one's going to be gone by the time you're ready to make an offer.
So you get that pre-approval done up first. Number one, it makes sure that you're good to go. There's no surprises. When I bought my house, this was probably like about 10 years ago, when I applied for my loan, we found out that the IRS had actually filed my taxes incorrectly. Like, I did nothing wrong, my accountant did nothing wrong. There was just an error on their end, and I had to go wait in a very long line multiple times to get this cleared up. And that's just one example of why you want to get this thing done up front, so that way you get all your ducks in a row and you can make a move on a property. And a quick side note, if you're working with a real estate agent who is not requiring a pre-approval for showings, that should be a huge red flag. I don't want to put down any of my colleagues, but the truth of the matter is that the majority of the agents don't sell very many homes. And so sometimes they just are really pumped up to have a buyer, and they don't want to make a mistake, so they'll just show you anything, but that's not providing you value. You want to make sure that you've got a professional who has a process, and that process includes a pre-approval letter. And one other thing, the reason I mentioned local lenders is because if you're going to be in a competitive situation, which you probably will be in our market, we have low inventory right now. Sometimes that can be the difference. I had a situation where I had a buyer, we had an offer in, our offer was the exact same as another buyer's offer, but we were with a local trusted lender who the seller was familiar with, and they went with our offer, and they straight up told us that. They said it was all the same down payment, same type of conventional loan, no house to sell, no contingency. It was the exact same offer, just two different lenders, and they picked ours. So make sure that you've got a good local lender who's gonna give you the edge. So the next step in the buyer's consultation is we'll do a quick overview on the market that we're in. I promise not to bury you with statistics. I do like stats and numbers, but I don't get too numbers heavy in these, just enough to let you know what you're stepping into. And right now we have low inventory. So a balanced market is 6 months of inventory. At this moment, we have 2 months of inventory. Now it has been slowly rising. That's still a strong seller's market. There's more buyers than there are sellers. Part of that is, the things we mentioned before. We're a growing city, our low price point, we're a lot more affordable than the surrounding metro areas. And so, that has been giving us a boost. And so you got to make sure that that, when you go into these situations that we're getting in the house quick. And if you want to make an offer, we're doing so quick. Definitely don't want to rush you, but the days on market is low. So we want to get in and, make a decision right away. And the last thing that we'll do is we'll do an overview on the contracts. Again, we're not going to get too far in the weeds. We're just going to touch base on the major points so that, the first time you hear these things isn't when you're signing a contract. I kind of want you to have an overview on what you're going to be expected to sign so that you're confident when you're moving quickly on the home that you want. The main goal with the buyer's consultation ultimately is to make sure that you have the information you need to make an informed decision, and that you're comfortable with me as your representation. So that way we've got a great strategy and all we need to do is execute. One of the other little benefits is that we can actually cut down on showings, because once we streamline the process, get a deep dive in your criteria, we don't need to look at unnecessary houses. We can only see the ones that meet your criteria, and that'll help save you some time as well. All right, so step 3, you're excited. It's looking like Fort Wayne is gonna be the place for you, but maybe you wanna come check it out first. That's totally normal. I can definitely help you there as well. So whether you're coming to look at homes, or even if you're not quite ready to buy yet, but you just wanna come get a feel for the city. I know I'd previously mentioned no showings without a pre-approval letter. However, I can still set up a guided tour for you. So, we can line up some open houses. We can check out some restaurants, some parks, school district, whatever it is that you're looking for in this move. I can help line it up and you can come check it out when you get here. Okay, now it's step 4, the most exciting part, the house hunting itself. Going out and looking at the properties that meet your criteria. Obviously, it's best to do this in person when possible. However, I've helped many people buy a home using just a phone, walking people through, showing them through the property. Again, that's not ideal. Hopefully you can make it here in person, but if you can't, know that we've got you taken care of. I've literally been through hundreds of inspections. I've walked properties with many inspectors. So I've developed a pretty good eye over the last 12 years. I'm always looking for clues, signs that maybe something wasn't maintained, like if an air return is caked with dust, or if there's old water stains. I'm always looking out for that type of stuff, because my thought is, you can figure out the layout that you want for your family and what your lifestyle needs. I'm here helping you get a deal and make sure that you don't make a mistake. Okay, step 5, making an offer. One thing you need to know about me, I am a born negotiator. Just ask Norbert and Nancy McAfee. And now that I have kids of my own, I just like to publicly say I'm sorry to my parents. But on a serious note, I take my role very seriously. I'm very comfortable negotiating, and ultimately I'm just trying to get you the best deal on a home you love. All right, step 6, congratulations, your offer is accepted. After a quick celebration, it's time to get to work. As for celebrations, I like to go with the Ari Gold from Entourage. Okay, after making your earnest money deposit, which is like a security deposit, the first big hurdle is inspection. I always recommend getting a home inspection. In this competitive market that we're in, it's becoming more common for people to waive inspection. My advice, if you miss out on one because someone else waived home inspection, so be it. Definitely get your home inspection. We can connect you with a reputable, licensed, insured home inspector. They're gonna check out the house top to bottom. They're gonna look at the roof, the plumbing, the electric, everything, the walls, the foundation, the appliances, just to make sure that it's working properly and noting any issues. Then at the end of the inspection, there's gonna be kind of a walkthrough, a summary. I can do that via FaceTime if you can't be there. I'm actually doing it this week with one of my out-of-town clients. So you'll be able to see any issues that the inspector points out, and you can literally ask him questions as I hold up the phone. It's worked out great for clients in the past. After the inspection is over, we're gonna get an inspection report, which is gonna have a summary of everything that the inspector found. This is yet again where a good negotiator comes in, because we're gonna negotiate how we move forward. Either we're gonna ask for money as compensation for what we saw, or we're gonna ask them to fix some of the things that we saw. Okay, now we're on step 7. We've got their inspection. Now it's time for the appraisal. When you're getting a loan from a bank, they're gonna require an appraisal. This is when they send a licensed appraiser out to the house to determine the value of the home. If the value of the home comes back at or above contract price, congrats, you're good to go. If it comes back below contract price, then you have 5 options. You can release from the contract and get your earnest money back. You can have the sellers lower the purchase price to the appraised price. You can bring cash to cover the difference. So let's say appraisal comes in 10K low, you can bring $10,000 to the table. You guys can split the difference. So the seller can lower the purchase price a little bit, and then you can cover that gap with cash. You know, again, that's where another negotiation comes in. You can try to figure out what they're willing to do and what you're willing to do. Or option 5, you can challenge the appraisal. In 12 years, I've had 2 successful challenges. So it's technically an option. I would not count on it though. I would say the first 4 are what you're gonna need to bank on. Okay, now we're on to step 8, and that's managing the transaction and getting it towards closing. So in addition to my team of licensed agents I have helping me, I also have a full-time assistant, also known as a transaction coordinator. She's gonna be monitoring all our dates, all our deadlines, and facilitating communication between myself, you, my client, the other parties, and everyone else involved. So we've got an entire team of people helping make sure that each task is hit along the way. You know, little things that are easy to overlook, but can cause some problems if you forget, are, you know, making sure that you line up insurance, transferring your mailing address, getting that set up at the post office, you know, scheduling the utilities, scheduling the closing, all those things we're gonna take care of and make it nice and smooth for you. And then it comes time for the final walkthrough. So the final walkthrough is literally what it sounds like. You're taking one last look at the house before you sign on the dotted line. It's more of a formality, but I have had some times where we get to the final walkthrough and, you know, something, either appliances were missing or there was damage or something. So even if you're out of town, I can do the final walkthrough virtually with you and make sure everything's how it's supposed to be before you sign. So now it's time for the closing. Congratulations, you're on step 9. It's the big day. These can either be done virtually or in person. And if you're doing it virtually, don't let that intimidate you. I have literally done, I don't even know how many at this point, maybe dozens, because I've had very transient clients, people that are out of town, people that travel a lot for work. It's very simple. They can have a mobile notary meet you in your house, at your office, like literally wherever you want to meet, at a Starbucks, and you can sign all the paperwork there. They fax a copy and then overnight the rest. It's very, very simple, very common. There's a small fee associated, but it's nominal. All right, and then the final step, step 10, moving to Fort Wayne and living your new lifestyle. There is so many things to do here. There's so much momentum. There's so many cool things going on, you know, from Parkview Field watching baseball games to the Fort Wayne Children's Zoo, which don't let that deceive you. That's fun for all ages. It's just a great place to be and a great time to be here. If you're looking to move to Fort Wayne and you're looking to interview real estate agents, I would love to represent you, help you find your dream home and make it as smooth as possible. My information is below, so be sure to reach out to me, subscribe to Jake in Fort Wayne, and we'll catch you on the next video.